Hey, welcome to your Capricorn horoscopes for the week of January 13th through the 20th. It is all about your long-term goals this week. And with Mars energy going through those long-term goals, that's a lot of energy going towards that. Mercury is still in Capricorn as well. We're getting ready for Venus to move into Capricorn, but it's not quite happening yet. And this is the last week of the sun being in Capricorn as well, because officially on Saturday it moves into Aquarius and we start Aquarius season, which I'm really excited about being in Aquarius, but that's neither here nor there. Focuses on long-term goals, both Mars and Mercury in a grand sextile with Jupiter and Saturn. Saturn's focus is on those that support you, while Jupiter is bringing a little bit of trauma into the mix there. But I feel like this is less about the trauma getting in the way and more about you overcoming those old mindsets and reprogramming yourself into a mindset that's a little bit more successful. And managing your trauma really does have a lot to do with that. I think you Capricorns probably are the best in the zodiac at doing this. And not necessarily just putting it aside and forgetting about it either, but separating what was from what is now. Almost every Capricorn that I have ever met and worked with in the time that I have been alive and been working with various different people, Capricorns are so good about not letting that trauma hold them back and not making current decisions based on past instances, past programming, and different things like that. Now, granted, we are all programmed as children and we all have mindsets that tend to stick. I have a 91-year-old Capricorn grandmother that still thinks along the same lines as she did when she was a teenager, because that's what she knows. So there is an element of reprogramming involved in this, because sometimes we have to let go of what we were taught in the past, not because it was wrong, because it doesn't work in today's world. You know, you think about it, a 91-year-old person, when she was a teenager, that was the 50s. Things were much, much, much different in the 50s in terms of a lot of the things that are going on now. So there was a lot more racism back then. There was a lot more sexism back then. The rules were different. Money was different. Everything was different back then. And this is a completely different world from then. Not to say that my grandma was racist, because she never was. I'm just going to put that out there. But this is why I think a lot of older people have a hard time adjusting to the way things are in the world right now, because they're still holding on to those things they were taught as young children. This is how trauma works. This is exactly how trauma works. We were taught something wrong and we hold on to that. Even if we don't believe in it, we still hold on to it because that's what we were taught. So reprogramming just has to happen. Whether we were taught the wrong information because we were being abused and controlled, or whether we were taught the wrong information because the information was different back then. Either way, we kind of have to overcome those obstacles that are currently building up around us right now. Saturn's influence in your support system is really interesting, because Saturn, this is Capricorn's ruling planet. So Saturn is all about responsibility. And this is really saying, you know, in terms of support, generate the correct support. Whatever your goals are, you want to reach out to somebody that is supportive in that specific thing. So for instance, if your goals are revolve around finances, you want to reach out to a financial planner, the person that has the knowledge and the tools to be able to help you with that, versus your friend who's not very good with money. it's definitely not the person that you want supporting you in your financial goals. Same thing goes with your career goals, with your personal goals, with your health goals, et cetera, et cetera. It's actually with health, that's pretty interesting. I can't tell you how many times I have, looked to my girlfriends or whatever. I'm a smoker, a cigarette smoker, have been for a long time. We've all gotten together, my husband and I, we're going to quit smoking and we're going to support each other. It never works. It never works. What I need to do is reach out to a group, a support group specifically for that. That would be more helpful than me trying to get somebody who also has an addiction to support me in getting rid of my addiction, if that makes sense. I think these are just some of those little weird things that we all do to kind of set ourselves up for failure so that we don't have to quit, so that we don't have to eat better, so that we don't have to exercise, et cetera, et cetera. As we move out of the week, the sun moves into um, Aquarius, but as he's leaving, he is in a bit of a square, a bit of a challenge. Well, a couple of different things, actually. He is in a bit of a challenge with Jupiter. Now, here, Jupiter is helpful on one end and not so much on the other. And the sun is where you shine. What's getting in the way of you shining is all of that trauma. Now, here's the thing. If you just put your trauma aside and go, it's not going to affect me right now, it's still sitting in there festering away. And it is, whether you can see it or not, it is still affecting you in some way. So cleaning out that closet is always a good idea. So if your goals, specifically your career goals, if you keep hitting the same obstacle, one of the best, easiest things to do is to look to yourself to see where you may have created this obstacle for yourself, or if you'd allowed that trauma to create this obstacle for yourself. This actually has to do with a little bit of that Capricorn stubbornness there, because it does exist in terms of what you are willing to let go of from the past and what you're not willing to let go of in the past. So that is the challenge there, but it's a little bitty challenge. We're not talking anything major. And by next week, it's over because the sun is no longer in Capricorn anymore. Anyway, so a really good week. I have to say, energetically for you guys, there's a lot of energy going towards your financial goals, your career goals, any other goals that you want to create for yourself or focus your energy on. Mars energy driving towards that is amazing. And we're going to continue to have that for at least another week or two. And next week, Venus is going to come in to add that creative element to what you're doing, to kind of make some changes that might make a little bit more sense for you guys. So lots of really good stuff going on in Capricorn right now. So, including Pluto actually leaving again. Funny thing, right at the end of the week on Saturday, when the sun moves into 0 degrees Aquarius, it sort of takes Pluto with it, because Pluto also moves 0 degrees Aquarius at the same time. So you're still going to feel the effects of Pluto, being that it's on the cusp, and it is going to go retrograde again, and it is going to come back because it's just, it's just how it is. That'll happen for a while until eventually will stay in Aquarius, retrograde or not. It's going to take a couple of years though. So that's what I have for you guys this week. Lots of really good stuff going on for you. If you love your horoscopes, do consider sending a tip or donation through my coffee link, which is down below this video in the description. Love all the coffee love. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. And I really, really appreciate that. I'm Melissa Bruce, the Heavy Metal Psychic. I will see you guys next week. And in the meantime, make sure that you make it a great week, because you always do. I'll see you next week.